The paintings your mother-in-law just destroyed were worth $1.8 million. I know because I painted them, and she just called my exclusive dealer to haul them away as garbage. Marcus Rothwell, the most prestigious art dealer in the city, stood in my destroyed studio holding the torn canvas of my latest commission while my mother-in-law Evelyn swayed on her feet like she'd been punched. But the real shock came when he turned to her and said, "Mrs. Hartley, you've just committed a felony. Destroying commissioned artwork is grand larceny, and my security team has been recording everything for the police." The destruction had started 2 hours earlier. I'd been at the farmer's market, selecting flowers for a still life series, when my neighbor called. "Mia, there's a U-Haul at your house. Some woman is throwing paintings into it." I'd raced home to find Evelyn directing 2 hired movers like a general commanding troops. My studio, the converted garage where I'd painted for 5 years, looked like a tornado had hit. Canvases slashed, frames broken, months of work destroyed. "What are you doing?" I'd screamed, grabbing a painting from a mover's hands. "I'm doing what my spineless son won't," Evelyn announced, hands on her designer-clad hips. "Ending this ridiculous hobby. 5 years of marriage, no grandchildren, and why? Because you're playing artist in the garage like a teenager." "Playing artist? This is my career." "Career?" She laughed, a sound like breaking glass. "Honey, hobbies aren't careers. Real careers have salaries, benefits, respectability. Not paint-stained clothes and canvases nobody wants." She grabbed my latest piece, a commission I'd spent 3 months on, and snapped it over her knee. "That was a commissioned piece." I gasped. "Someone paid for that." "Then they're as delusional as you are." She turned to the movers. "Everything goes. I'll pay double if you're done in an hour." That's when I'd called Marcus. Not the police, not my husband. Marcus Rothwell, the dealer who'd been representing me quietly for 2 years, building my reputation slowly, carefully, the way real art careers are built. "Don't touch anything else," he'd said. "I'm 10 minutes away with security and documentation. Let her keep going. Let her hang herself." So I'd stood there, arms wrapped around myself, watching my mother-in-law destroy 5 years of work while sneering about proper wives and real jobs, and the grandchildren I'll never have because you've poisoned my son with this bohemian nonsense. The movers, sensing tension, had started moving slower, unsure. That's when Evelyn made her fatal error. "I'm calling a dealer," she announced, pulling out her phone. "Someone who hauls away junk art. Maybe they'll give us a few dollars for the frames." She Googled art dealer near me and called the first number. The universe, in its infinite sense of irony, gave her Rothwell Gallery. "Yes, I need someone to clear out worthless paintings." The address? 427 Sycamore Lane. "How soon can you?" "Oh, 30 minutes. "Perfect." She hung up triumphantly while I bit my lip to keep from laughing through my tears. Of all the dealers in the city, she called mine. Marcus arrived in a black Mercedes, not a hauling truck. 2 serious-looking men in suits flanked him, not movers, but his security team. Evelyn's smug expression faltered. "I called for junk removal," she said uncertainly. "No, Mrs. Hartley. Evelyn Hartley. This is my son's house, and I'm clearing out this so-called art studio." "I see." Marcus stepped past her into the studio, his face a professional mask that I knew hid fury. "And the artist?" "My daughter-in-law. Mia Johnson." She said my name like it tasted bad. "Calls herself a painter. Wastes my son's money and her childbearing years on this nonsense." That's when Marcus saw the destroyed commission. His mask slipped. He knelt beside the broken canvas, examining it with the reverence of someone handling a wounded bird. This was Solitude in Blue. The Petersons' Anniversary Commission. "Commission?" Evelyn scoffed. "Who would pay for?" $40,000, Marcus said quietly. "They paid $40,000 for this piece. 40% upfront, the rest on delivery." which is now impossible, as you've destroyed it. The movers had stopped entirely, backing toward their truck. One actually pulled out his phone, sensing this was about to become the kind of scene that goes viral. 40,000? Evelyn's voice cracked. That's impossible. She sells paintings at craft fairs. She hasn't sold at craft fairs in 3 years. Marcus stood, his full height imposing. I've been representing Ms. Johnson exclusively. Her pieces are in private collections across the country. Her last exhibition sold out in 6 hours. He pulled out his tablet, showing documentation I recognized. My contracts, sales records, the waiting list of collectors wanting my work. The blue series alone. He gestured to a stack of canvases Evelyn had torn. Was pre-sold to tech executive Sarah Chen for $200,000. The portrait commission from Senator Williams? $75,000. The abstract collection going to the Morrison Museum? $300,000. With each number, Evelyn grew paler. The movers had definitely started recording now. But she never said. My son never mentioned. Because I asked them not to, I said quietly. I wanted to build my career without your influence. Without you trying to use my success to impress your country club friends or take credit for supporting me. Which you never did. Marcus continued his inventory, using an app to photograph damage. Destroyed. Morning Light series, valued at $150,000. Urban Dreams collection, $180,000. Various studies and sketches, approximately $50,000. He looked up. Current total of destroyed work, $895,000. She's lying. Evelyn grabbed his tablet. This is fake. Some scam you're running. Marcus gently retrieved his device. Mrs. Hartley, I'm Marcus Rothwell of Rothwell Gallery. You can verify my credentials. I've been in the art business for 30 years. I don't deal in craft fair art, as you so dismissively put it. I represent serious artists. Your daughter-in-law is one of my most promising. That's when he delivered the killing blow. In fact, I came here today to discuss her solo exhibition at the gallery. We have buyers lined up, including the Whitman Foundation. They were prepared to acquire her entire new collection for their contemporary wing. The collection you've just destroyed. He turned to his security team. Did you get everything? Yes, sir. Full video from arrival, plus Mrs. Johnson's documentation of the damage before we arrived. Excellent. Please call the police. We'll be pressing charges for destruction of property, grand larceny, and interference with business contracts. You can't be serious, Evelyn sputtered. I'm her mother-in-law. This is a family matter. No, this is a criminal matter. You've destroyed nearly $1 million in artwork. Commissioned pieces that were legally sold. That's felony-level theft. The police arrived within minutes. Art crimes involving this much money get priority response. Officer Davidson surveyed the scene with growing amazement. Ma'am, he addressed Evelyn, did you destroy these paintings? I was helping. Cleaning. She's my daughter-in-law, and this is my son's house. Is your name on the deed? He asked. No, but... Did you have permission from the homeowners to enter and remove property? My son would want. That's a no. Did you have permission from the artist to destroy her work? Evelyn looked at me desperately. Mia, tell them this is a misunderstanding. I thought about 5 years of her dismissive comments. 5 years of when will you get a real job? 5 years of you're wasting your life and my son's money. 5 years of her telling everyone I was a failed artist living off her successful son. Officer, I did not give permission. She broke in while I was out and destroyed my professional inventory. Mr. Rothwell can verify the value of the pieces. Marcus handed over his documentation. Officer Davidson whistled low. Nearly $900,000. Ma'am, you're under arrest for felony destruction of property. What? You can't arrest me. I'm Evelyn Hartley. My husband is. Going to need a very good lawyer, Officer Davidson finished, pulling out handcuffs. That's when my husband Jason arrived, screeching to a halt in his Tesla. He took in the scene: his mother in handcuffs, the destroyed studio, Marcus with his security team, me standing among the wreckage of my work. What the hell is going on? Evelyn immediately started wailing. Jason, your wife is having me arrested. Over some paintings. Tell them. Jason looked at the destruction, at Marcus, whom he recognized, at the documentation the officer was reviewing. Mom, what did you do? I was helping. This obsession of hers has gone too far. She needs to focus on giving us grandchildren, not. Mom. Jason's voice was deadly quiet. Are you telling me you've destroyed Mia's paintings? The ones going to the Whitman Foundation? You knew? Evelyn and I said simultaneously. He ran his hands through his hair. Of course I knew. I'm her husband. I know about the exhibitions, the sales, the Swiss collector who wants to commission a series. I know my wife is a successful artist making 3 times my salary. 3 times, Evelyn whispered. Last year she made $1.2 million, Jason said flatly. I made $400,000. So yes, Mom, 3 times. And you just destroyed her inventory for her biggest exhibition yet. Evelyn fainted. Actually fainted, dropping like a marionette with cut strings. The EMTs who'd arrived with the police rushed to her. While they tended to her, Marcus pulled me aside. Mia? I need to ask, do you have photos of the destroyed works? High resolution? Everything. I document obsessively. Good. We can work with that. Some collectors prefer to own destroyed works. There's a market for tragedy in art. And your story? Artist mother-in-law destroys $1 million collection out of jealousy. That's the kind of narrative that sells. You're thinking about sales? Now? I'm thinking about your career. This is horrible, yes. But handled correctly, it could launch you into a different stratosphere. The publicity alone. He smiled grimly. Trust me. I've been doing this long enough to know how to spin tragedy into triumph. Evelyn was conscious again, sitting on my front steps with an oxygen mask while officers completed paperwork. Jason stood between us like a referee at a boxing match gone wrong. Mom, he said wearily, do you understand what you've done? You've committed a felony. You've destroyed Mia's work. You've humiliated yourself and our family. And for what? Because you don't approve of her career. She trapped you. Evelyn pulled off the oxygen mask. Made you think she was some struggling artist so you'd support her. She never asked me for money, Jason said. Not once. She paid for this studio renovation. She bought her supplies. Hell, she paid off my student loans last year. The only one trapped here is you. In some 1950s fantasy where women need to choose between careers and children. She can have both, I added quietly. In fact, I was planning to tell you both at dinner next week. I'm pregnant. 3 months, due in January. The silence was deafening. Jason spun toward me, joy replacing anger. Evelyn started crying again, but different tears. The tears of a woman realizing she destroyed her relationship with her daughter-in-law right before her first grandchild arrived. Mia, she reached out. I didn't know. No, I stepped back. You didn't know about the baby. But you knew I was a person with dreams and ambitions and work I loved. That should have been enough to treat me with respect. The police finished processing the scene. Evelyn was formally arrested, though Jason would bail her out within hours. The movers, who'd captured everything on phone cameras, would later sell their footage to news outlets, making the story go viral. Mother-in-law destroys $1 million art collection. Marcus was right about the publicity. Within days, my name was everywhere. Art collectors who'd never heard of me were suddenly interested. The destroyed pieces became legendary. The art that was too powerful for a jealous mother-in-law to tolerate. The Petersons, whose anniversary commission had been destroyed, not only forgave the delay but commissioned 2 more pieces. Anyone whose art can drive someone to such extremes Must be creating something powerful, Mrs. Peterson told me. The insurance payout covered the material losses. The lawsuit against Evelyn would likely result in restitution for the full value. But more importantly, the art world rallied around me. Established artists shared their own stories of family members who dismissed their work. Collectors competed to own pieces from the artist who rose from destruction. 6 months later, my solo exhibition opened at Rothwell Gallery. Not the one we'd originally planned, that had been destroyed by Evelyn. This was bigger, bolder, including a series called Aftermath that incorporated pieces of the destroyed canvases into new works. The centerpiece was a massive installation using the torn canvas of Solitude in Blue, reformed into something new, something that spoke of destruction and rebirth, of voices that try to silence art, and the art that refuses to be silenced. Evelyn attended, on probation and forbidden from contacting me without permission. She stood before that piece for an hour, tears sliding down her face. Not for what she destroyed, I think, but for finally understanding what she tried to destroy. Not just paintings, but a voice, a vision, a woman's right to create. Jason stood beside me as red dots appeared next to piece after piece, the gallery's way of marking sales. "I'm proud of you," he whispered, hand on my growing belly. "For the art. For everything. For keeping your success quiet when Mom would have tried to take credit. For pressing charges when everyone said to let it go. For turning this disaster into triumph." Marcus approached with champagne and sparkling cider. "The Whitman Foundation wants everything. The entire collection. They're calling it the most important acquisition of contemporary women's art in a decade." I thought about Evelyn calling my work garbage, about her sneering at my paint-stained clothes, about her ripping canvases while ranting about grandchildren and proper wives. Now those grandchildren would grow up knowing their mother was an artist whose work hung in museums. Would know that sometimes the people who try to destroy your dreams only make them stronger. "Oh," Marcus added with a smile. "And there's a documentary filmmaker here. She wants to follow your next series from conception to exhibition. Working title, The Art That Wouldn't Die." I laughed, feeling the baby kick. Art that wouldn't die. Fitting, considering someone had literally tried to kill it. Evelyn left early, but not before approaching Jason. "Tell Mia. Tell her the piece with the torn canvas. It's beautiful. Heartbreaking and beautiful." He didn't tell me until later. By then, I was too happy to be angry, surrounded by people who understood that art isn't a hobby you outgrow or a phase you abandon for real life. Art is real life, as essential as breathing, as powerful as any traditional career. The Movers video went viral with a title I couldn't have scripted better. "Mother-in-law destroys DIL's art. Finds out it's worth $1.8 million. But they got the number wrong. Art isn't worth what someone will pay for it. It's worth what someone will destroy for it. And apparently mine was worth a felony charge, a viral scandal, and a mother-in-law's complete humiliation. I'd say that's priceless."